Welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. I'm your host, DJ Impact, and I got some of the Bad Boys here with me.
Welcome to another edition of Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting.
Is that me or is that someone else?
Nah,
That's probably
you,
me.
Bro. It's you. Sounds so good. I had to say it twice.
I had to say it twice. Anyway, fellas, thanks for being here. We don't have King Licky with us today. But I'm sure he will be back at some point. It's good to see you guys here, though. And we're just coming off of Survivor Series pay-per-view. I tell you, leading up to the pay-per-view, to me, it was just like whatever. And then you guys may be the same about that. But after watching it, I mean, it actually turned out to be okay. It wasn't as I thought it was going to be worse than what it actually came out to be. It actually wasn't that bad. Those are my opinions, but we're about to hear what you guys think about that. Let's start off, though. They did a pre-show with the dual branded Battle Royal, and we thought Dominic finally got a win in folks, but The Miz seemed to just did his normal trick and came out the winner. Any surprises there?
Well, here's one thing that's not a surprise at this point that I wish they would fucking acknowledge every once in a while. Why is it when they're involved in a battle royal and they throw the last person over, they automatically think they've won, but a bell has not sounded? They're fucking professional wrestlers. Jesus.
I was thinking the same thing too. I was like, come on, you didn't hear the bell, But hey, Dominic's
willing suspension of disbelief.
True. But we can always say Dominic's new, so maybe he doesn't know the rules compared to if that would have been somebody else, right?
His family never let him watch. His family never let him watch wrestling when he grew up.
Really?
So.
Is that the case? Is that factual, or you just made that up?
Oh man,
I was gonna make the case saying like, bro, you grew up in the fucking business, basically. I mean, come on. That's like saying Randy Orton didn't know about shit when he was growing up, or Cody Rhodes didn't know about shit. Like, dude, you grew up in the freaking business. You would have known.
Well, hey, at least Dominic is still showing that he can handle with the guy. So overall, that was your pre-show. It did kick right off into the men's Survivor elimination match, and Team Raw defeated Team Smackdown. Any surprises there from you all?
No.
Yeah, the whole fucking match.
I wasn't surprised. I mean, let's be real, guys. I mean, looking at what Raw had compared to whatever SmackDown could have, the only way SmackDown could have competed in that bout is if Roman Reigns wasn't the champion, he was on SmackDown, and if by chance they had some other big dude that they could have put on SmackDown. It was undersized, outmatched. There was no way, and I this is my opinion.
Did you watch the whole lead up to Survivor Series for the last?
They couldn't get it wrong. They couldn't get along. I get it, but I wouldn't buy into that shit anyways. Next question.
No, the thing is, what surprised me was that it was 5-0. Like,
right, yeah.
That's it literally buried the brand.
Yeah.
That's how I felt after that match. I'm like, what in the actual fuck just happened?
What actually happened was they did what they needed to do, and that's try to get people to put eyes on Raw to get more viewers. That's really about it. You're also dealing with your own fucking base when you're dealing with a pay-per-view. It's not new eyes, so maybe that's the logic. But I mean, if you look at the only thing it progressed was the storyline with Uso,
basically.
Yeah,
that was the purpose I felt for that match.
Yeah. Well, I guess Team Raw seems like in most of these, since the beginning of having Raw and SmackDown, it always just seemed like Raw has always be the team that comes out on top.
Always.
Yeah,
no, seriously, that's how it always is.
Yeah, it's just all right, so.
But you got to remember the reason that is because it's the crown jewel of their
the flagship
platform. Exactly.
Right. Well, and
sure,
I get
but
that.
at the same time, you've got to figure that you have more of a viewer base technically because you're on broadcast Fox. I mean,
exactly.
It wouldn't hurt for once in a while. I'm just saying, like every single cross-branded pay-per-view or competition always favors Raw. And I would think that if there was ever a time for them to actually, have SmackDown go over or, even look like they're in competition, this would have been it.
Right.
Yeah, but I like I said, I think it goes the opposite way with this particular year, being that Fox, is doing better in the ratings than they were. You want to drive those eyes to Raw as well. Try to get some of that fan base over. What's interesting is the fact that they left out NXT this year.
Yeah, they did. And I think a lot of people talked about that early on in the beginning. They were kind of like, well, is NXT going to be doing it? But it makes sense because NXT is going full blast into really building up War Games. Well, yeah. I felt like that was the reason why they didn't want to participate.
But it's also, well, it's not they didn't want to participate. like they're a fucking company or something.
I'm saying in the sense of like it made sense that they didn't participate. Whatever the case may have been, I feel like they're putting a really all in on War Games, which we can talk about later.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're doing a great job of putting the all in 2 weeks. So,
yeah,
it's not like they were pushing War Games before this past week. And what it comes down to is NXT has its own popularity that you cannot sacrifice your two major brands now competing within its own company.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Right.
Possible.
Yeah. Let's
and real quick before you go to that, they actually did start promoting War Games. That was on Wednesday night on SmackDown.
Yeah,
that's the first time I saw one. Yeah,
but no, that's what I'm saying. They just started promoting it. It's only 2 weeks away.
True.
What I'm saying is that they hadn't been promoting anything about War Games at all, other than hinting towards it by doing the 4-man group with McAfee. But other than that, there's been no mention of even a fucking NXT takeover, let alone War Games. So, that what I'm saying is last year you had NXT on the show. NXT stole the show and they couldn't let it happen again.
That I agree with 100%, because at the end of the day, that's what happened last year. It was about NXT. It wasn't about SmackDown or Raw. They were just there, basically.
I forgot to welcome all of our online viewers who's watching us. Feel free to put a comment into the live video comments, and we will try to throw it in as we can. And for everyone listening to us on podcast, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And most importantly, thank you for telling others about us as well. The Tag Team Championship against the New Day versus Street Profits. Guys, I mean, pretty good match, right? And you have to enjoy the entrance of the New Day, how they came out. I would say this. I knew that they came out to what appeared to be like characters in a video game. I just couldn't figure out what video game. And I was trying to figure that out before they went through the whole video promotion of what they were doing. But I was just going crazy, like what? Yeah.
Yeah, they're in I think it was Metal Gear Solid. But yeah, no, no, it was Gears of War, excuse me. Metal Gear Solid. Okay. Holy shit. Yeah. Sorry, I'm solid. Yeah, I fucking spaced on that. No, okay. It was the new Gears of War title. But yeah, I mean, this was honestly the match that I enjoyed the most on the entire show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it was a good match, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, let me think about that. I don't know, because to me, when we talk about it later, the main event was pretty good too. But this was definitely have to be within the top top 3, top 2, maybe. Top 2.
Say top 3.
You know, but yeah, I mean, they held it down. Any surprises, those that Street Profits beat the New Day?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No. The only surprise is that they didn't have any kind of turn going on with either the Street Profits or Big E.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
That's what I thought at first, especially when Big E came out with them. I thought that
was it.
Something. That's what I thought. I thought that meant something like, okay.
No, but I'm saying that was it. Like Big E didn't even stay at ringside.
Right.
It was just come out in this ridiculous fucking battle gear.
Hold on, time out real quick. Before, it took me a minute, because I ain't gonna lie, and I play video games, I knew it was Gears of War. But what it did remind me, remember that old school 80s movie with Fred Savage called with Howie Mandel, with the kids under the bed, or the monsters under the bed or whatever? And they wore this same type of shit. It was like spray painted on. It was all colorful and they had lights on and shit. Just look at that movie. I forget what it is. It's on Netflix. It has Fred Savage and Howie Mandel as the monsters. It's called Monsters, whatever. But that looks like the same shit they fucking wore in that movie. Like, real talk. Somebody in the chat's going to remember what I'm talking about and spit it out. I guarantee it. Somebody listening on the podcast.
Please do not look up on the internet monsters whatever.
I forgot what the name was. I'm looking that shit up now. Fred Savage.
Oh God.
It's gonna bug me. Fred Savage monster movie, whatever the hell it was called. It was because I remember I used to watch it as a kid. Little Monsters. That's what the name of the movie was. Howie Mandel, Fred Savage, Little Monsters. In the scene in that movie, they were fighting the monsters back toward the end of it, and they put on this gear. It's like football helmets and shit, and it was like splash colored with color. That's what I thought it was at first.
Yeah.
Just wanted to share that with you.
Well,
we just wasted 5 minutes of our life.
Hey, but you know what? There's 4 of us, and I got to make up for the other 5 minutes that would have been wasted too. There you go.
Let's move over to the mid-card champions, Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. And man, you know, I know we talked about this, Michael. Sami Zayn is just really just awesome right now. This guy is just, he's on top of his game. I was watching the pre-show and he was saying the reason why, you know, he's better as a champion because he's the champion of all people, you know, the Intercontinental Champion of all nations, versus Bobby is just the champion of the United States. And he said he don't even want to get into that. Dude, he's awesome.
He is good.
Yes, he really is. And then, of course, his wrestling is just on par as well. So, yeah, I mean, Bobby did get the win over that, but we can expect that. You got the entire Hurt Business.
They cheated. Clearly, they cheated. And Sami had a valid point.
He did not cheat. He stumbled in the back of look. First of all, MVP stands wide stance all the time. If you go back to videos, he is a wide stance dude, even to the point where I say, brother, you're gonna do a split because you don't need that wide of a stance. Sami Zayn was already thinking they was gonna cheat. He just don't know how to walk straight. That's his
Okay.
No, we just spent another 3 minutes that we can't get back.
Well, we spent half a minute of you complaining about nothing. Drink something, bro. Calm down. Whatever. Let's go on. Impact. Do your thing.
No doubt. There was the women.
It was a Bobby Lashley match, okay? It was fucking boring as hell. Thank God Sami Zayn was in it because he was the one who made the fucking thing work.
Yes. Your ongoing feud with Bobby Lashley.
You're like fucking
You're just about as bad as Lucky with Cameron Grimes.
For real.
Ooh,
just
good
hating.
point there. You know?
Yeah, but Cameron Grimes actually has talent.
I bet you wouldn't say that to Bobby Lashley.
Oh, let me bet your ass I would not. Hell no.
Let me ask you this, Michael, did you like Bobby over at Impact Wrestling?
You know what? There was a point where I felt like I would have liked him, and they just messed it up. But that's really unfair because Impact Wrestling was going through so much fucking shit while he was there.
Okay.
But no, my problem is simple, man. When I see Cedric Alexander out there with Lashley and Shelton, and you got MVP. MVP you can keep as your horseman manager. All right.
Okay.
That's fine. When I saw the Street Profits in the very next match, that's where they went wrong. Use those guys. Cedric Alexander, the Street Profits, and maybe that would save the idea of Lashley, because then you could have him as your heavy. But put Keith Lee or someone like that in that position, and now you have 4 guys under the tutelage of MVP that becomes your new horseman, your new group of young guys.
What about
who are being groomed?
What about Celtic Benjamin? You just totally left him out the equation, didn't you?
Yeah, get the fuck rid of him. I said get rid of him.
Yeah. And you know what's funny though? It's sad, but there's some truth to that. Because sometimes whenever I see it, I'm just kind of like, you're not the Shelton Benjamin what Haas was back in the day with Kurt Angle. You're a shadow of that, and I feel bad to say that because the dude is talented. When he was a stud. And I just felt like we haven't had a chance in this iteration with the Hurt Business to see proper Shelton Benjamin to what us have been watching the product have been accustomed to.
I agree 1,000%.
I must have been right. Michaels didn't say shit.
Well, look, let's jump over to the women's championship. Asuka with Raw, Sasha Banks with SmackDown. What's you guys' take on that? Sasha beat Asuka.
I will say this. I'm happy with the result. Didn't really like the grind. I felt like the match was good, but not great. I felt like it did kind of carry on a little bit. Of course, it was entertaining because Asuka is Asuka. And I love how she doesn't really take herself seriously for being as dangerous as she really is. And I think that works for her. I think clearly Sasha needed to win this. And that's what happened. Sasha won this. And what does
it do?
What does it do? Because she couldn't beat. Technically, the right way, she couldn't beat Asuka. And that was the thing that was being presented.
So we had to sit through another fucking match of Sasha and Asuka just so she could pin her, and that brings her to what level? Who the fuck cares?
Well, again, we're watching Survivor Series where everything means nothing but something. Okay, so it went in the vein with the tradition of Survivor Series. No trophies, just fucking make believe bragging rights that people talk about.
SmackDown, you've just spent the last 3 weeks building up Carmella coming in and fucking doing something to Sasha, and you didn't have that happen. Bullshit.
No. I agree on that point that I would have preferred to see something like that. But let's be real. WWE has done that shit around Survivor Series for years. They've had ongoing storylines in their perspective.
I do not care.
Well, then why the fuck break it up?
I want to. Because the reason I don't care is I never should have had to watch this match in the first place, because it's the fucking, I think, 30th time we've seen these two wrestle this year alone.
It has been a while, and that's why I said I didn't like the grind. So we agreed. Is there balloons, confetti? We agreed. Next.
Wow.
I love that he's trying to say that we agree.
Right.
Hey, it doesn't happen all the time, man. I'm so happy we can be together.
He's still thinking that we agree. I love it.
Yeah, agree. Okay, just fucking go with it. Impact, do it. Come on.
All right, we had the Women's Survivor Series elimination match, and
of course we did.
Team Raw defeated Team SmackDown, and Lana was the sole survivor.
Because that stayed in her place.
You guys didn't like how all of that played out? I mean, we knew it was going to be something with Lana somehow doing something, but coming out on top, it was kind of shocking, right?
I didn't like it.
After watching Chronicles that she has out, I now understand why she's the sole survivor. But if I didn't watch that, I would be kind of confused.
And you know, it's interesting you say that, because if I had actually watched the Chronicles, I would have been probably pissed off to the highest level of festivity, because you basically had the outcome of the match because you had a fucking Chronicles. I get it. It's the business, Michael. Well, I get it. But I'm just saying it was lame. It was a lame ending.
Outside of it, the overall match, did you guys not like how everything came together? You didn't like none of it. You didn't like, okay, all right.
I mean, it wasn't bad.
I didn't think
it was a match. And what I mean by that, I mean it passed the time. It was good for what it was. But
I'll tell you,
I mean, nothing really blow away. I mean, Peyton Royce looked really good in the match. I thought Liv Morgan was looking good in the match as well.
That's what I was about to say. I thought Liv Morgan looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, standout performances by both of them. And I mean, of course, you knew when they had Lana not even stand on the ring apron up there for the tag that was going to play into the finish in some way. So, I mean, it was something that they foreshadowed almost right from the beginning. And it told the story. I mean, it accomplished what it needed to do. Nothing more, nothing less.
And that's why I didn't like it, because at the end of the day, there were some standouts that you mentioned early. Bianca Belair was one as well. I felt like the number one focus of that whole match was Lana. And that and they tried to showcase those women's talents, but I just was like, oh, maybe it's just
that's what fucking pro wrestling is.
I know, and I'm waiting for it, Michael. The 101 tutorial on the business of wrestling.
No, it's fucking simple. They're building up a tables match at fucking tables, ladders, and chairs with her and Nia. That's it. That's what this whole thing is. She spent the time in the ring afterwards yelling, "I am a survivor."
Right.
And if you watch any part of that documentary, the Chronicles thing, this whole fucking thing is a goddamn work. That's it. Very simple.
But let me ask you y'all this question, and I'll shut up about this one. You excited to watch a Nia Jax and Lana in a tables match?
No.
I'll wait.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see that?
Absolutely, because Lana is going to get her ass kicked for 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever until Nia falls through the table on accident.
Yeah.
I love watching Lana get beat up.
Time out. You know some shit thing? I hated that shit until you just said it like that, and I actually wouldn't mind that. You just want to see that. Listen to this man, because that shit fucking makes sense. Anything outside of that, fuck y'all. All right, next.
The old fuck y'all.
All right. Well, that lead us to the main event. And you had Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre. Again, I thought hell of a match, right? I mean, they put it down, and I didn't know how it was going to end. On our chat that we were on our app, I mentioned that I thought that somehow Jay was going to get involved. I thought it was going to somehow cost Roman. And I also said at the end, I can't see how Roman loses this match. But at the same time, I was calling it that somehow if he was going to lose, it was going to be because of Jay, which will even keep Jay even further away from the table. Okay, coming up. But I mean, overall, I mean, I'm happy with how it turned out, and it was really, really good because leading up to this, to the ending, you really didn't know how it was going to go, and you thought maybe it was just going to be a clean 1, 2, 3 on someone. I don't know. What did you guys take?
Here, really, before we get into the take, you just pointed out something of when you said that he would be lower on the table.
Yeah.
Now, what if, Steve, you're a continuity man. You enjoy a little continuity with your soup in the morning?
Of course.
Like having soup in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what if Nia, who is part of that family, is making a point that she belongs at the table by putting Lana through the table consistently? Now that would be some deep and diving shit for writers to be thinking about, man.
You know, that's amazing.
That's some deep ass shit.
That is some deep ass shit.
If you get the right weed,
like deep ass Nia shit.
Like
deep.
You got to get the right weed for this shit to come. Like,
I could just see it now. WWE presenting little tiny bags with WWE Universe on it with the best kush you can buy. Smoke on it.
If Vince ever figured out that his wrestlers were naming strands of weed after themselves, you know what? He would start the fucking weed market himself within 3 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, he would.
Yep.
And you know what the bad thing is them fools still would get drug tested.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'm going to call myself out on this one. So I'm always one that, whenever anybody uses any kind of crazy hyperbole and overspeaks, I did misspeak earlier. This was without a doubt the match of the night. This was amazing. There was so much drama in this match that, as you said, until the very end sequence, I wasn't sure how things were going to play out.
Right.
And that's how, a match of this caliber should be. It did feel like as if it was your two champions in your two brands underneath of the same universe. And it lived up to every bit of the expectation without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of sucked that now I guess they have to kind of go back to their own ways of, starting their own storylines again within our own brands. It would be kind of good to see where that could have went, and maybe it could possibly happen down the line again. But yeah, overall, I was quite pleased. And
typically, whenever they do the lead up to Survivor Series and they have the cross brand promos and angles, it's almost like as if it's not WWE canon. So it's not like as if it is really ever referenced ever again. So it's one of those things where essentially the last month they've had the pause button pressed, and now they're going to resume from where they were before they started the build to Survivor Series.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which overall, when they have changed it now to this format where you only get 2 Survivor Series matches and then the 2 brands, each championship versus championship. So you're already whittling it down to the structure you're going to have, right? Which kind of sucks because there was room for, take out the fucking women's match, take out the US title match, make a stake in something for the 2 other matches, and then give us 2 more Survivor Series style matches with people that we couldn't see on the show because of this. Daniel Bryan, you were missing Randy Orton, you were missing the Fiend or Bray Wyatt.
No shit.
Yeah, we were waiting for him to come out. Everybody was.
Yeah. Right.
So there is a list of people who just, and then if you want to include the Battle Royal itself because it was pre-show, take some of the talent there. You got, Miz. Listen, you just built a whole thing with Buddy Murphy and he wasn't on the fucking pay-per-view.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
right.
Why is Seth not, Seth's team versus the Mysterios, man?
Right.
Missed that one.
Well,
Uncle Brucey.
But the only thing that I will say, and it goes back to what I've been complaining about the last couple of weeks, I feel like that's the one thing that's missing from Survivor Series is something memento. We need a memento for this momentous occasion of Survivor Series. And yeah, I get it. It's gonna have the only one thing that was missing this time that I can't remember if it was last time, but I think this time for sure there was no keeping score, no tally. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel before, right?
Yeah, like even if you're not going to win, then I get it. Having that tally makes sense because while you're watching the show, maybe you missed the first match, and you're like, okay, here's the tally, and so then at least makes what this match is mean something, even if it's boring, Bobby Lashley show or a slow grind of Asuka and Sasha. I'm just saying it just helps.
Make the stakes mean something. So in the main event, you should have had a Survivor Series match, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. And if SmackDown lost, then they had to take Lana. And if Raw won, Lana had to go back with Bobby Lashley.
Oh, that's horrible. I mean, it would never happen, but I like it. Hold on. Time out for a second. This one thing I thought of when I was seeing the women's Survivor Series match. What did piss me off is when Lana got in the ring with Liz. No mention of their romantic past, which was played out for the longest. But immediately once she got in there with Natalie, oh my gosh, they have some history with those two. I was like, she just got in the ring with the ex jump off chick she was with. Like didn't mention no shit of that. I just wanted to see if I was the only person that heard that.
Nope.
No continuity. Shame.
Zero.
Well, they ended the pay-per-view, of course, celebrating 30 years of The Undertaker entertaining us. I know we've talked earlier.
Is that what it was?
Undertaker.
I thought it was a 20-minute tribute to everyone's entrance.
Yeah, everyone. That's exactly what it was.
Everyone of his entrance. Oh, you're talking about the guest people.
You're right.
What were they there for?
I thought they were there to celebrate.
And by the way,
no, they taped that shit separate. How much y'all want to bet they taped that shit separate?
And by the way, where did they go after all that? Like you didn't even see them ringside, or
they taped it separate.
They went to fucking commercial,
right?
In a pay-per-view, so they could clear them out after taking 20 minutes to get them in for a celebration of the Undertaker, which they're gone. Vince is now in the ring, trying not to cry.
Right?
Yeah.
He finally gets through it. Yeah, they do a beautiful, nice little package. Undertaker takes his time, gets down the ring, says 15 words. And then he goes right back up the ramp, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. Shout out to Savio Vega, who's been on the show before.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see him come down the ring. Almost lost the Puerto Rican flag, but he caught it the last minute.
He did.
Hands quick. Shout out to him. If anybody's interested in that interview, you can check out our timeless catalog, Vegas Bad Boyz, a podcast. We have done an interview. You can hear tons of million stories. He talks longer than I do. It's entertaining.
I don't believe that.
Oh, you better believe it. He talks longer than I do.
Yeah, but absolutely shout out to Taker. We've all in the past have kind of given our own tributes to him and what he meant to us and everything. So we won't go back to that. But it was great to see him again and see the interests and shout out to the hologram that they had of Paul Bearer. And so that was that was really cool to see that. But yeah, absolutely.
It was for you to see it through your eyes. Imagine it seeing it through my eyes. It was amazing.
I'm surprised that wasn't your oh shit moment. Like, oh my God, he's back. I thought he was dead. I can only imagine.
I was trying to grab him.
I'm sure.
My hand kept going through him.
You know what's really cool about that whole thing? And I laughed at it, but I was like, he had to do it. Every freaking staple Undertaker, everything. And I was at where I was like, okay, all right, you know what? Go ahead and do it. It's your last ride. Go ahead and do it. But yeah,
we say last ride with very, very much caution. Knowing that you're going to see him again at some point. you know,
but not in a ring capacity. I hope not in a ring capacity, because that was.
Have you read the recent Saudi check he's gotten from him?
I hear that, and that may be something that's actually there. I got a chance to watch.
Time, man.
I only want one more Undertaker match.
No.
One more.
Go to a nursing home and see that shit. He is like 90.
It doesn't even have to be a match. Make it cinematic.
You want it with Bray, right?
Make it cinematic and have the Fiend and the Undertaker.
How about this? How about you have the Fiend do the shit he's doing, and then the Undertaker intervene in a cinematic match?
Whatever.
Because that would be cool. I don't want to see Undertaker in an actual match anymore.
No, he doesn't. No, he shouldn't work a standard match.
Yeah, his legacy is amazing. I think this is perfect. I'm an Undertaker fan. I wanted to actually. I grieved for the Undertaker when I was with Impact and we saw Roman Reigns beat him. We was in Florida. And I saw that, and I was one of the grown men crying. There was a lot of them, so don't judge me. I thought it was it. Do you see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, to do another match, fuck the Saudis.
Jeez.
No offense to the Saudi people, just fuck that bullshit.
It's a lot of zeros.
I don't give a shit. Send me my check so I can co-sign in. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man, hilarious.
Let's send it with $70.
Dude, it's as many zeros as you've had ex-wives.
So only two? I haven't had that many. You make it seem like I was like some dude living in Utah that had polygamy and they all divorced me at once. Like I had 7 wives divorce me at once.
Dude, if
can't even get married to that many.
Anyone's into good reality shows, A&E this season has the Sister Wives of Simon Street.
Oh my
it's
god!
A fucking amazing reality show.
The only thing it would be is both of them would probably get together to shut me the fuck up. That would be the only thing.
I have to ask my wife about that show. She loves A&E, so I'm sure she's seen a commercial for it.
I only have 2 ex-wives.
Oh god. All right, guys, that is the Survivor Series right there. I think our take on it is that we thought it was a good show overall, and we'll just keep it moving. When it comes to Raw and SmackDown, anything that wasn't leading up to the show. Now, the only thing that I want to mention, and yes, this is actually was a part of tonight's show, but it is a little bit of something to discuss, right? So Drew beats Orton for the title. I'm just kind of curious, though. Do you guys think that should have happened as quick as it did? I mean, I like Orton, and we feel Orton's probably close to his last ride, although he looks great. But of course, he's still, getting up there. I thought he was going to
get up there. Get up there. Whoa there. Easy, fella.
Okay,
damn, son.
Not really up there.
I know, but I'm just
almost 60. Randy Orton's like our age, man.
Well, Randy Orton has a hell of a lot more in the tank.
Your age.
Yeah.
Your age, Michaels.
Yeah, he ain't over the hill, okay? He is a far away from receiving.
I guess in wrestling terms is what I'm speaking of, okay? That's what I was. Nevertheless, was anyone shocked to see Drew get the title back that fast is what I wanted to know.
I wasn't surprised.
Okay.
Is Orton injured? That's my question.
I don't know that much, but I can't tell you.
I didn't know I haven't read anything he was, but
so the thing is, I don't know if WWE would, even consider this because, they don't seem to really give a shit about their booking or continuity, but I don't think that they could have headlined this pay-per-view with Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton as both heels.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
So that's just me. I wouldn't be surprised to see Drew, turn the title back over within the next probably month or so.
Probably be the Miz. Miz will probably cash in.
Someone there'll be another heel that takes it from Drew.
Miz.
Or what will happen is you'll have that scenario where let's say it ends up being Drew and Orton again, okay? And at tables, ladders, and chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you have Drew pin Orton, but he like, something like they go through a table or something like that, to where he's virtually out too, where Miz can just come in and just slide him over and just pin him like that and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, that would be legit. That would be legit. And actually give Miz a good run.
Right, and then you can have Orton go into a feud with the Fiend then, and finish off the indications they've been given of the house burning down.
Now,
and maybe that's when we see Sister Abigail come out of Alexa. So like her persona of evil will like raise the Fiend. Maybe she's Sister Abigail, and they create something for her.
Now I gotta be honest with you. What you just said is reason why I knew, or in my heart, I knew that Randy was gonna drop the title, because I felt like it was more game for Randy to be in a storyline with the Fiend than it was for him to have the title. And really, Randy doesn't need the title. Drew kind of needs the title. Not that he's not good, but I feel like he has a lot of ground to prove, because I don't know if maybe he reads or watches the show or other things, but he kind of knows that people found his title reign kind of suckage or below par, a little boring, a little snooze alert, a little bit. So I think now he's turned up the notch. But then again, he could just be that competitor that's better chasing than actually having it.
Well, that's an interesting, when you say that, then it makes it interesting what Steve said, because Orton is a name. So if you want more eyes to get on the main event, the match, the product, you would put Orton in there with Roman. That's a big time match. But Steve hit it on the head with heel versus heel.
Yeah.
So therefore, you put Drew, who, like you said, is a better chaser, and Drew's not going to look bad because it's against Roman Reigns. So you can have Drew lose that match, and also have it through the means of Uso being the one to interfere. So it just makes more sense to do what they're doing. So
Matt Michaels, was there anything else that should be mentioned from Raw or SmackDown that was not related to tonight's Survivor Series?
I think SmackDown should get a fucking salute to the match that Daniel Bryan and Jay had, man. Fuck. That was great.
Yeah.
Man, that's one of the things that has been I think they've started to kind of get into more of a habit in making what is happening in the story translate to what should be happening in the ring. Because if those two just had your normal WWE Raw SmackDown match, it would just not have been very interesting. It would have been the main event in which you are still fast forwarding kind of through just to kind of get over with it on DVR, right?
Right.
This match, because of the fucking history that got built up with that match, one fucking match, by the way, think about that. One match was good enough to elevate this match. And on top of it, as you're going to commercial, you set up Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. They're doing shit now that is progressing stories. And finally, it's almost finally, maybe we were all wrong in thinking that they made a mistake firing Bischoff and firing Heyman. And maybe it just took time for everything to kind of settle in. But Bruce's process might be closer to delivering a product that is coherent enough for Vince, because he knows Bruce well enough to trust.
Well, let me also add one thing to that, because you have something. Also, too, the pandemic happening, I think also provided a better atmosphere to test shit out. I think that
running around the
pandemic, I'm telling you right now, I don't know what we would have got, but it wouldn't have been as good as what we're getting now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Definitely. And it is really refreshing to see them, I think, inching toward that Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn long-term feud. They were actually slated to feud And then the pandemic happened and Zayn decided to stay home with his family. So it was one of those things where, you know, we were going to get this earlier this year anyway. And now we're just going to get it, you know, as we roll into Royal Rumble season and, you know, the marquee pay-per-views coming around. So it might actually be better for us to have gotten it this late as opposed to when they were originally going to do it in the dead spot right after Mania.
And now you can potentially hold that at Mania, which would be phenomenal.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, I gotta say, man, you talk about with the Raw team being as charismatic personality-wise as you have with, you know, Riddle on it and Keith Lee on it, and you got Sheamus, and then you got fucking the Monster on there. AJ Styles commanded the fucking whole time, just taking that story to that progression of at any moment, it just felt like that team could fall apart because AJ's just making himself the leader and no one's listening to him. And then they pull off the routing of them. And you finally get that embrace at the end of the match with the, you know, the reluctancy kind of there, and they finally come together. It was like they fucking wrote one of those movies where the little league team hates each other. And by the end, they learn how to play together and they defeat, disgustingly destroy the other team and finally celebrate. And now you can just end it, go back to Raw, and basically none of that will have affected any kind of storylines going forward.
Bingo.
You know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of Tom Hanks in A League of Their Own. Like those people had no reason to even listen to his ass, even to the point like, we know you AJ Styles, the phenomenon, we get it, but whatever. But he proved it to him. The only thing he was missing was that long ass fucking stream that Tom Hanks did in A League of Their Own. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you didn't watch that movie. I watched that movie a whole bunch of times. You know, we was peeing for like extra 10 minutes, 10 minutes, but it seemed like 10 minutes in the movie.
Okay.
That shit was hilarious.
It's not that we haven't seen the movie, brother.
I just thought it was hilarious. But I'm saying like AJ Styles reminded me of Tom Hanks in A League of Their Own. He was somebody that you look like
pissed for a really long time.
Yeah, pissed for a real long time. No, I'm just saying, like he was somebody that when he was watching Monday Night Raw, I was like, this shit ain't gonna go nowhere. When he originally called them out, I didn't think it was going nowhere, but he did. He pulled it together.
Rein this shit in, DJ. Rein this shit.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like fucking hurting cats.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure we got it all in, Michael. Would that complete our Raw and SmackDown talk? Michael?
So, like the whole wrestling talk, or just Raw and SmackDown?
That was Raw and SmackDown.
Raw and SmackDown.
Let's jump over then to Impact Wrestling. I guess that would be myself, huh? Started off great, right? We had Moose versus Willie Mack. They've been feuding lately, and I got to tell you, very physical match. You would never think you see Willie Mack thrown around like a rag doll, but Moose was just tossing this guy left and right. It was a really good match. I mean, Willie Mack held his own as well, but most of the time, Moose was just all over him. And it came out to be, like I said, it was really a great match how they started off that show. Suicide, he popped up. He had a match against Gio, who was a jobber. But the main point of that was I told you last week, Joe Doering came back, I guess, and he's teamed up with Eric Young. So the whole point of that whole thing was for him to beat up Suicide and this jobber, Joe Doering. Okay. After he gets up beating them in the ring, they go backstage. He ends up beating up Rhino. And then, of course, Heath is not too far from Rhino. Heath is in a room waiting for Rhino to come back. And Joe Doering and Eric Young goes in that room and shuts the door. So we don't know what's happening, but we can assume that Heath is about to get his ass beat, unless they're about to do some switcheroo. I don't know, but Joe Doering is up on this beat down of people since he's been back.
Okay, so you just said the words Joel and Durning about 50 times. Who the fuck is this guy?
His name is Joe Doering. Now, who he is, I don't know, because I haven't followed him. Apparently, he is someone that was around, maybe back in the day of Impact Wrestling. Again, I didn't watch Impact back then. I would say look up Joe Doering and find out something about him right quick. I'm surprised you guys actually don't know.
He was known for his work in All Japan.
Okay.
So yeah, he big dude. Just he's a tank. So yeah, look him up if you have any questions. But yeah, the King's Road style, basically he's the embodiment of it. So yeah. Haas.
Yes. Yeah, so that's who they're pretty much pushing right now in that whole storyline. So also there was, so no one really cared about that match. Oh, how about there was a women's match? It was Tenille and Dashwood and Alicia Edwards against Havoc and Nevaeh. They were in the women's tag team as they're trying to, have a new tag team battle that they're going through. And Havoc and Nevaeh won that to advance to the semifinals. So they're slowly getting up to that title that they bring it back, the tag team women's title for Impact Wrestling. So that took place. There was a couple of backstage events that was pretty funny, I guess. The Good Brothers was hanging out with Scott D'Amore, and then you had Ethan Page pops up from the North, and he wants another title shot. The North's been pretty good with their with winning titles, but they lost at the last pay-per-view. So the Good Brothers are like, look, if you want a rematch, we'll give you one, but you're going to have to beat somebody who we pick, and if you beat them, we will give you that match. All we can tell you about this person who you're going to fight is that he is phenomenal. Okay? The Good Brothers. He's going to be phenomenal. So it's pretty funny how they played up on that entire term there during that match. So we'll see how that's going to turn out.
I don't get it.
I know you don't. All right. So,
totally.
And so the main thing, though, out of all that happened on the show, and it wasn't too much more, a couple other craziness, but the whole point of the show really was about the Rascals. The Rascals, 10 years wrestling as a tag team and for Impact Wrestling, and this was their last match. I got to tell you guys, if you can, like Sin City, I think you told me a week or two ago that I should definitely go check out that UK NXT match, which I haven't forgot. It's on the list. Hopefully after this week, all my extra work I'm doing, I got a list of things to do. It's on my list. I'm going to watch.
Walter Dragunov.
Yes. Okay. I'm now telling you guys to go watch, if you didn't see this last match with, with these guys here. And they also had the Rascals. Oh boy. Why do I always forget old boy's name?
Because he's old boy. That's
who's their champion again?
Who's their champion?
Impact.
Impact's world champion?
Oh, Swan,
yes.
Swan? Oh, okay.
I always forget Swan's name. Swan's going to do something like kill someone on the show, and then I'll definitely remember his name at this point.
Well, that's a great way to remember somebody's name.
I mean, it is Impact Wrestling.
Committed crime, I guess. Shit.
And Swan is not a bad wrestler. I just can't never remember Swan. Okay. Anyway, he teamed up.
Who shot then Bravo?
Hey, that was another part I wanted to ignore.
That's some shit off of fucking Talking Shop of Mania, man.
They're still doing investigations and yeah, it's crazy. I didn't even want to talk about that. It's silly. But yes, the but pretty much it was the Rascals, and then they teamed up with Swan, to make it a 2-on-2. But the match was just great. Just watching these guys do this last performance. I mean, they really showed out, just doing a lot of the moves that we enjoyed over the years. They went old school with some of the moves they did, and it's hard really to talk about it. It's more visual. If you can, just go back and find that particular match. They pretty much left, after the end of the match, it was a special moment, tearing, little hugging. They had their jackets that they normally wear to the ring. They just hung it up over the ropes, and then they went out.
So
But
wait, let me ask you this,
sure.
Because you didn't cover this. So who then were the 15 people who came out before they came out? Right?
There was no 15 people that came out before they came out.
I thought this was a tribute to the Rascals show.
Wow.
You got it mixed
Michael's
up.
about to say, did the dog come out? Did the dog come out?
But I tell you this, when the Rascals, it was great though. When the Rascals went backstage, because again, it's the end and they're like, hey brothers, we have fun. It's been good. Give each other dap, give me some love, Swan's in the middle. What do you know? A trash can comes flying right at their heads. And it was Sami Callihan and Kim Shamrock that had to just say, look, I don't give a crap you guys are leaving or not. We're still beating you down. And they gave them a beat down backstage as they were going off the air. So that was the last thing that they did with the Rascals. But man, that's the end of that. I mean, the entire 40 minutes of the last show was really dedicated to them. And rumor has it, that supposedly they're going to be WWE bound. Again, I don't know. It doesn't matter to me, but if they are moving on up, hey, they deserve it. They're going to be missed being with Impact Wrestling. So
you're gonna see some WWE signings here within the next couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder. I mean,
not just them potentially. WWE is going to be doing their usual hiring season going into the new year, so then they could fire people at the end of Mania.
Yeah,
and then also too, there's not going to be a hell of a lot of rehiring like some people thought there was going to be.
Well,
all the people that got fired or laid off or whatever, they're not going to rehire them. You think Heath Slater will be showing up there? Exactly.
No, because he doesn't have a contract with them. He has a contract with another fucking company.
How long is his contract? How long is Heath's contract with Impact?
He was signed. What the fuck, man? Have you
how long is his
watched
contract?
one of our shows?
No, but how long is his contract? I'm just asking that question. I don't know how long his contract is.
Well, we don't. I mean, he just signed. So who knows?
Hey, don't you? But
he signed a multi-year deal, I believe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, don't you have Scott Demore's email address that you can just text him? Get the answer for him so you know.
You're right. I forgot. I'll do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what's going to happen with them, man. I just hope that they, if that is where they're going, WWE bound, that they're not doing some ridiculous shit. That's all I'm just hoping. I'm hoping they can still do the great moves they do some and not ridiculous shit down and
it'll be some fuckery.
Yeah.
You're talking about a group of men who hung out in a treehouse, and you're worried about them doing goofy shit on WWE TV? Come on, man.
Well, listen. The treehouse, that's whatever. I'm talking about the wrestling itself and coming to the ring. It's not like they came down to the ring dressed as trees, okay? Because that would just be stupid.
Way to just give them the fucking idea.
Right. Damn shit.
We're gonna have to come down as trees. There's no need for trees for their treehouse. That's trees.
That's good shit. All right.
They're used to being in a treehouse. Now we're gonna make them the treehouse.
and then one day after the gimmicks start to get old, you'll see that there's like a little flap down at the bottom, the front of the tree, and comes out Hornswoggle as like a
oh man.
Because Lord knows using Hornswoggle is a great idea.
Hey, right? Swoggle's already Impact, so they're not gonna. He can't pop up at WWE now.
What's his contract?
I don't know. He just signed too.
Speaking of talking Shop-A-Mania, he made a little cameo appearance in Talking Shop-A-Mania. Fucking Swoggle.
Oh, did he?
Oh my god! Okay. If you guys, I highly recommend checking out Talking Shop-A-Mania. It's probably one of the most fucked up shows that I've seen in the year, and it's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Zero canon to any promotion. People in there from all different promotions. It's edible up and have yourself a field day.
Another one for the list.
Edible up. That is a new phrase. Edible up. We're talking about magic shrooms, or are we talking about just regular edibles?
Whatever's legal in your jurisdiction.
Right.
Well, shit, in Portland, Coke is apparently legal.
Well, there's that.
Sin City, let's jump over to AEW, man. What happened this week that we need to know about?
Man, so obviously the thing that was the main event, I mean, you had Brian Cage and Ricky Starks against Cody and Darby. I mean, solid main event. Cage is just a fucking animal, dude. He's just starting to show the world everything that he can do, and it's been a real treasure to see that. After the main event, you had Will Hobbs joining Team Taz in a swerve. You could have plucked this finish and this match straight out of WWE Raw. I mean, you seriously, you had the heel beat down, you had the babyface rundown. Who, if you've been watching the shows, he's been late to get out there anyway to stop the beat downs.
Right.
And he just so happens to pick up the belt and clocks Cody with it and joins Team Taz. I mean, it was Pro Wrestling 101. It was right out of anything that you'd see on Monday Night Raw. Right. And that ended the show on a great note. Also on the show, Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa. They had an amazing match until the ending. I really wish that the ending would not have, what happened was you had a run-in with Britt Baker, which spoiled an amazing match, technically sound, hard hitting. These two absolutely tore it up. And then anytime that there's outside interference resulting in a decision, it kind of taints it a little bit. You could have easily gotten to the same conclusion by having Britt Baker attack Thunder Rosa after the match.
But the real question is who is the AEW Women's Champ after that match?
It's still Shida. Still Shida, believe it or not.
Man, how does she keep escaping these matches with her title like that? It's amazing. It's like she's not even in the match.
I see what you did there. Well played. I agree 1,000,000%, man. I think they're really missing the boat with their women's division, even still. And the fact that they're attempting to supplement it by showcasing another promotion's title belt, I think that really sums up the AEW women's division in itself. So, yeah.
Under construction. Still on the doors of the AEW women's division.
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
You haven't seen the women's restroom.
Oh my
God. You also had Pac. I can't really do the original, like the whole Pac thing.
Right.
That hurt. Yeah, he honestly, he came back. Everybody was thinking, oh, ring rust. Dude looked smooth as hell and honestly looked better than the Blade did in ring. And that was, I mean, it was a great showcase to bring Pac back into the minds and, into the memory of their audience. So, I would like to talk about the contract signing for the AEW Heavyweight Championship.
Ah, yes.
But, I mean, it fell flat. Having Jon Moxley getting laid out in the back, not having a face-to-face, you don't even have to have the guys touch, but, having them face-to-face would have been wise, in my opinion, on this.
Yeah, but
now you leave the door open for anybody to have laid them out. So laid Moxley out, excuse me.
But Moxley can't, dude. He can't be in the ring right now. He's pregnant.
He is. He's very pregnant. Very pregnant.
Congratulations to John and Renee.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We're gonna have another kid running around Vegas, man.
That's awesome.
The way you said that was a little bit creepy. Just a little bit.
No, I mean it in a good way.
The creepy people always say it in a good way. Just ends badly.
Not in a Dexter Loomis type way.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're not going to be wearing a blindfold. Got it.
Oh my gosh, do we have to talk about blindfolds?
We'll talk about that here in a minute.
I got to. That sucks.
I will say this: Top Flight also debuted on the show against the Young Bucks, and they had one hell of a showing for a tag team that got their tryout match by linking to a highlight video on YouTube via Twitter. They got their AEW match with the Young Bucks. I think that's really telling, man. And they made the most of it. They look like $1 million. It was a great showcase for them. They did have some messy spots in there, but at the end of it, I mean, it was great to see that they were given such solid offense against them.
Who won the match?
Well, the Bucks won.
Oh, why? They don't need it. Come on. They beat these young kids.
Come on, dude.
Fucking fun.
Oh, man. Anything else that happened on the show?
I mean, nothing really of note. You had Orange Cassidy versus Kip Sabian, and it is what it is.
Is Orange Cassidy now going all the way down now from?
Yeah, he's definitely fallen, man. It's not cool.
Yeah,
they've really diminished Orange Cassidy. He did pick up the win, but at what expense? I mean, it seems like as if AEW has a really big problem with the shiny new toy syndrome, where they'll elevate somebody that is either in obscurity or that is brand new to the company, and then they don't win the match for the championship because they elevate them all the way to the main event.
Right.
They lose the match and then they throw them away and they just leave them to languish and die in the mid card if we ever see him again.
Not everybody can be a Lex Luger, so
Well, wait, hold on. Are we talking? We're talking about SmackDown, right? Or are we talking about Raw?
We were talking about AEW.
Yeah.
Oh, because exactly what you said, I thought was every single thing that every AEW fan has ever said negatively about the WWE.
I don't know what to tell you, brother. I don't have any kind of an agenda on here, so if I see bullshit, I'm gonna call it out. If I see continuity, I'm gonna call it out. If I see issues, I'm gonna call them out. But I'm just gonna tell it how I see it. And I don't, I want AEW to do extremely well because they act as an alternative to WWE, and there needs to be a solid alternative to WWE at all times, because that will only make WWE better.
No kidding. But they're doing what WWE is doing. That's my point.
Also, too, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it looks like to a point too, to where they're getting the reality of a lot of what they may have saw the perspective of what WWE do. Well, sometimes there's just decisions that get made and you can't really swerve away from it. And sometimes this is I think this is the reality of having your own promotion. Every promotion has probably done this more times than they'd like to say they have.
Okay.
It must have been right. No one rebutted.
Well, I guess that is it. We do have for AEW. We have to see what comes from them in the following week. There was NXT that same night where Simon Street going to break it down.
Wait. We missed the best part of AEW this weekend or this week.
I was waiting on everyone else to talk about it. Really?
Yeah, man. Vegas,
dude.
That was great.
The vignettes with the inner circle. Come on. I didn't know that I was recapping the entire show. The inner circle taking over Vegas, man. So you had several vignettes, obviously, them messing around on the Vegas sign, all the Vegas movie tropes, everything from The Hangover, all the familiar scenes. It was really cool to see. It was just a lot of fun. You had Hornswoggle talking Shopomania again. So dude was all over TV. So that's awesome. Just all sorts of crazy shit. Shout out to our boy, friend of the show, Red Cup Jeff. He was hanging out with the inner circle at the bar. And I know that some of Vegas's own were also in that scene.
That's right. Little shout out to Damian Drake and Matt Vandergriff for having your asses handed to you guys. That was headbutt.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was really funny shit. Interspersed around, so wrestling. So I guess as a WWE fan, I felt entertained.
Good. That was the purpose.
That's a smarky way of saying that.
You fucker.
Oh, shit.
All right, let's now jump over.
Next, literally next, NXT.
Exactly.
Wednesday night. What can I tell you? NXT was an interesting bag of tricks. If you watched, and me and
you never watched the show, do you?
No, I do watch the show. Anyways, I swear we're gonna go through this every time, but it's fine. So pretty much I say it's an interesting bag of tricks because, me and Sin City Steve did have a conversation about it. It's where the first half was interesting, to say the least. Started off, of course, with the rematch, Johnny Gargano versus Leon Rolfe for the North American Championship. Pretty much Gargano was just whooping that ass, and Leon Ruff's doing everything he possibly could to duck and dodge. It wasn't until Damian Priest came out with the distraction, and I didn't really like the ending for this match. Pretty much Damian Priest totally got involved and caused a disqualification by hitting Leon Ruff, saying "sorry, kid," and hit him. So that way he would get disqualified and Gargano would lose the match, basically. But the thing I didn't like that at first. Keep that in your mind. I'll get to that later. So then next was even weirder match. These matches, and I'm glad that freaking Beth Phoenix said it too. A freaking blindfold match. Never in the history of wrestling. It's a certifiable train wreck. And Beth Phoenix says there's a reason why we don't have too many of these matches. Of course, it is Dexter Loomis and Cameron Grimes with that. The only interesting part of that match was that Cameron Grimes thought he was beating the shit out of Dexter Loomis, was actually the referee, which I found to be pretty damn entertaining. And then after that, they decided to take the damn. He tried to go after Dexter Loomis with the mask on, and then realized Dexter Loomis must have Michael Myers, serial killer stalker powers or something sensory. And
obviously,
obviously, right? So that's the thing. And so pretty much it was ended a no contest, which almost every blindfold match is. A match that I actually did like for different reasons was the Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell versus Catanzaro and Carter. Catanzaro and Carter are starting to grow on me. I wasn't really, and it's more, no offense to Casey, it was kind of because I was never feeling Casey. I was like, girl, we need to take you down south, have you eat a couple rib plates. I'm not feeling it. But the girl got some speed.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed him describing female wrestling just based off of looks.
No, you didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish. I was saying when I first saw her, I was like, you just a little itty bitty thing. I'm like, these women are crazy. But she has the super speed, the super quickness. And I mean, obviously, she's still in the game, and she will be here for a long time based on what I saw. I think the team of Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro looked really, really good against, you know, a very gamey Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to win, you know, the match. It was a good match because I like seeing.
Say unfortunately, like
yeah,
they
it wasn't enough.
Had a chance at winning a scripted match.
Oh my gosh, dude! I wish I had a mute button for you. Can we have mute buttons, please? I put you in timeout. No, but no. But the only reason why I say that is because it's starting. That team is starting to grow on me, and I would like to see them win. You see what I'm saying? And this is an indication that eventually they're going to push them. But anyways, moving on. Another good match that I really liked a lot was Kushida versus Arturo Rus. Really hard-hitting striker submission match. Really, that's what this match was. They did not hold back at all. It was really, really good. It was interesting toward the end how you know, Kushida actually won. It was off of like a counter, and I don't even know how to describe it. It was just interesting. It looked like Arturo was going for some kind of leg lock or something like that, and then he had Kushida, and Kushida did a back bend over to have his shoulders on there. I thought it was very interesting. But anyway, Kushida goes over. It was an awesome match. I'm going down the whole card because, you know, obviously that's what we're doing today. So anyways, the next match was Tony Storm, Ember Moon versus Dakota Kai. And who I am calling it now, Raquel Gonzalez, unless her very tall Amazonian ass gets hurt, she is actually looking really good to where I'm glad they're letting the girl wrestle because she's really showing a lot of people that she could be. Why are you laughing at me, man?
You just did it again.
How? How'd I do it again? What'd I do?
Because she's looking good, they're allowing her to wrestle.
I'm not talking about her. I'm not talking about how she looks physically. I'm talking about how she is in the ring. She's looking good. She looks confident in what she's doing. She's a fucking certifiable Amazonian ass kicker. Oh. Like, for real. I don't want to fight her ass. She looked like she'd tear my ass up. So anyways, besides the point, you know, Dakota Kai looked really good too. As I stated last week, she's looking good. The one thing I will say about this, because the match was okay, I'm going to give kudos to someone I don't give kudos to. Ember Moon's getting better at her promos and her speaking ability. She actually is starting to seem a little comfortable, a little sarcastic, but comfortable. And I appreciate that. Come out your shell, baby girl. You're doing good. So last but not least was the match that I liked out of all of them. And even the ending, but this match because of what it can be. Timothy Thatcher, August Gray. No, it wasn't this match. It was technically what happened after the match. Let me correct myself. So anyways, Timothy Thatcher decided to beat the holy crap out of his former student, August Gray. As you would guess it, August Gray tried to put up a fight, but I mean, if you ever seen a little boy try to beat his daddy's ass and the daddy just whoop his ass real quick with one, that's what Timothy Thatcher did to August Gray. Good shot, boy. But you know, like Timothy Thatcher said, don't ever try to pick with a fight with someone you can't beat. And he did. But after that, some cool, really cool shit. And I'm excited for this match. You had Tommaso Ciampa come out and just walks out there. Timothy Thatcher's looking, and the only thing he could say, I have no problem with you. I have no problem with you, and leave. And so there's going to be some stuff coming with those two. That's a match I think will be really, really, really good coming up. Looking forward to that. Also, too, at the end of the match, where it was obviously was everybody else's favorite match, I thought it was okay, but it was a good match nonetheless. For the NXT Women's Championship, Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley had a lot to prove. Can she still do it? They built it up. Brutal match for a women's match. I was really freaking brutal. And Io Shirai really held her own, and Rhea Ripley was not playing around at all, but it was very brutal, back and forth. A good match, but you know, I'm going to say it again, unfortunately, Rhea Ripley just didn't have enough to get the win, and Io Shirai is still your champion. I know, you just still love it. I'm going to send you a recording of me saying unfortunately. Anyways, and then at the end of the day, as Io Shirai was holding up her victory as it was prophesized the whole damn night and reminded to everybody, the champ Finn Balor was going to come out and address the NXT universe. As he did, he came out, had a nice little beard, and he was interrupted by douchebags are us, Pat McPhee, and the company. Basically, again, McAfee does a pretty good job talking, but I feel like he just watched a lot of tapes of Road Dogg Jesse James doing promos on people mixed with other people, because that's what he sounded like to me. But Finn Balor says, "Oh, you like to run your mouth." Well, I'm trying my best, Finn Balor. I'm sorry, it sucks, but I'm trying it. But I brought some other people too, and so Undisputed Era comes out, and it was amazing. It was freaking cool. They beat the shit out of their ass. So I just want to see what happens next week. Ladies and gentlemen, that was NXT. As cringy as Michaels was, I'm sure he's only but 1% of everybody else that feels the same.
You just took a 2-hour program and recapped it in 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh. But you know what? You love it. I think you secretly listen back to the podcast when I have to do it, and you watch me and you're like, man, this is actually really, really good. Really good. It's a shame that I'll never tell Simon Street how good it is.
Simon, you did a really good job reading a recap on the website and regurgitating it to us tonight. Thank you.
But I didn't do that though. That's the thing. I actually watched it.
Did you though?
You know what? You know what the funny thing is? You out of everybody should know I did, because the truth is, I did not watch NXT until after we got done playing a game. And I told you that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Street never tells no lies.
All right. Well, thank you, Simon Street, for that. We appreciate that.
The only good blindfold match in the history of WWE was Jake the Snake Roberts versus the model Rick Martel. That was it. That's it. Yeah. That's the only good blindfold match ever in the history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should tell NXT that so they don't ever do
By
that.
the way, did you guys want to mention anything else about NXT? I know he recapped it, but just want to make sure.
I figured I'd just, blurt it out and just say that right there. And Pat McAfee continues to be one of the best people on the mic, and he doesn't even, work for the company in a full-time capacity.
No, man. You sound like the Road Dogg, man.
He does sound like the Road Dogg. When I hear him, I think immediately of the Road Dogg. The only thing he's missing is singing and jucking and jiving and shit. He might do that next week if we ask for him.
Stay tuned.
I will say one little shout out, Shotzi Blackheart. That Warzone trailer where she's refixing and rebuilding the new Iron Man prototype. I'm sorry, the tank was freaking amazing. Shotzi Blackheart is gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
There you go. See,
I don't give a shit. You know what? Whatever. There's women that watch wrestling. No.
Not even a thing.
Because you know what? Don't make me feel bad. No. Don't make me feel bad, because there's tons of women that watch wrestling, especially when Roman was out. Yeah, and that Roman, he is just so dreamy. Oh. So, I mean, it's a thing everybody does. I mean, Shotzi Blackheart is an attractive woman. She has a lot of charisma. I enjoy seeing her, not just because she's beautiful, but she kicks ass. Now.
All right. We appreciate that. Thank you, Simon Street.
Thank you.
Let's move right over into ROH, or I guess I'll jump into that. 3 good matches. Again, ROH, guys, if you're not watching it, you need to tune in. It's 1 hour. And they go pretty quick, but the matches, they tell a story, and it's entertaining. EC3 and Jay Briscoe started off. This didn't even last no more than 10 minutes, okay? Jay Briscoe EC3 got up under Jay Briscoe's brain there, and Briscoe just went off on him, held his foot on his neck, passed the 5 count, and got disqualified, giving EC3 the win. And then EC3 was ready to, I guess, give himself up like he did with Moose the other time. He's this whole storyline of control your narrative, which he had over in Impact. He's taking that same storyline over into ROH. So it's interesting as he's, pushing this whole control your narrative thing, but it seemed like it might be working for him. Who knows? Nevertheless, that match took place. Into that, LSG and Jay Lethal had a Pure Rules match. Now, you remember we talked about how pure rules, how they work. Not going to go over that, but it went the entire 15 minutes, which means the judges have to say who wins that match, and it ended up being Jay Lethal. It was a really good match. The only reason why LSG most likely lost is because he was the first one that had the first rope break. Okay. Remember, you only going to be allowed to have 3. So they didn't go over any of the, they didn't break any of the rules. It lasted the last 15 minutes, but overall, I guess, and of course, although Jay won, he's not happy. You want to get the 3 count.
That's taking lessons from Simon and how to fucking do recaps.
I guess so.
Well, hey, Impact, I got your back. So me and Impact can come over and do financial aid forms and fill them out so we can go to your college. You can teach us.
Hey,
yeah, you ain't got shit. Impact, keep going.
Fill out the forms, and you send the check in. I'm fine.
Oh my gosh, that's all you had.
So Jay Lethal, he ended up winning the match. Of course, nobody wants to be able to just win off the judges saying, you won. You want to be able to get the 3 count. So my guess is at some point they may battle it again. It was a good match, but it just turned out that way. Matt Tavin and Bateman had a match. They were the main event of the match, and that was also started off really good. Matt ended up winning, of course, but Vincent, who was I think he was a part of the Kingdom, if I remember correctly. He was a part of the Kingdom, the whole group that there was. He came out with the mic, talking a bunch to because Tavin, because although Tavin won, Bateman, of course, came in and started to beat him up after the match, which allowed Vincent to come out, grab the mic, talk a bunch of trash back and forth to the point where Vincent actually pulled out a dart, one of those darts you throw at a target, and now he was and he was going to go ahead and pinch his thumb because it was about to get real hardcore. And then the lights went out. You know what happens when the lights go out, who or what's about to appear. And it ended up being Mike Bennett. Who is Mike Bennett? Y'all know, Mike Kanellis. So Mike Kanellis showed up to save Matt Tavin from there and beat the other guys up out of the ring. So that's how our ROH ended. It's good to see Mike's got a home, right?
But we only care about his wife. Was his wife there?
Well, his wife wasn't there.
We only care about
but that was ROH. Again, very quick, but it was a great 1 hour. If you get a chance to check it out, it's some of the best wrestling that you can watch in a short period of time. We'll jump over into New Japan. I know they're still in a bunch of competition. Sin City, just kind of tell us what is happening there.
Sure. So the latest event was actually on November 20th, which was the second night of New Japan Showdown. Clark Connors and the DKC defeated the Regal Twins. You had Russ Taylor defeating Rocky Romero in a 10-minute match. It was pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Our boy, friend of the show, Jeff Cobb, picked up the win against JR Kratos in a solid match. They went about 7.5 minutes. Solid win by Cobb there. But then your main event, you had Kenta defeating David Finley in a singles match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship #1 contendership. So that kind of sets the stage for Wrestle Kingdom, as New Japan has been building to Wrestle Kingdom 15. That's going to be taking place, of course, January 4th and 5th. So it's going to be held over 2 days. And at Wrestle Kingdom right now.
So with the winner,
what's up?
I was just going to ask, so was the winner of that match then will, in theory, supposed to go up against Moxley then? Is that how that would work?
Yep. So that is going to take place at one of the 2 nights for Wrestle Kingdom 15. So it'll be Kenta, aka Hideo Itami from the WWE and NXT, versus Jon Moxley for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. So that'll be a good match. Kenta's shown a lot of ferocity since going back to Japan, and this will be a solid match. Elsewhere, you're going to have Tetsuya Naito defending the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and Intercontinental Championship against Kota Ibushi. And of course, both of those guys are probably going to drop each other on their heads about 25 times in the match, as is the case every time that they wrestle. Elsewhere, you've got Okada versus Osprey in a singles match that's already been booked for night 1. And then night 2, you've got the winner of Naito and Ibushi from night 1 versus Jay White when Jay White cashes in his championship opportunity from winning the G1. So that's solid, man. That's where we are for Wrestle Kingdom.
It looked like Matt Michaels got something on his mind.
Didn't they have Moxley vacate the belt though?
No, he's still technically the champion.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought they did because he can't wrestle. He's pregnant.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, I will tell you this though, City, I thought was interesting. As I was reading, for Moxley or anyone else in the U.S. who would go and fight in the Tokyo Dome will have to be out of here by December 20th to be able to fight during that time. How is that going to work? I mean, it's not like it's impossible, but how would that work, I guess, storyline with some of the wrestlers that are with AEW or maybe other promotions that they're running a storyline with if they're not going to have this person around for, I would almost say probably a month, right? You got 2 weeks to quarantine, then you have the match, and unless if they fly right back.
It's simple. It's simple what's going to happen. Kenny Omega is going to defeat John Moxley for the championship.
Okay.
That he can't wrestle. He's pregnant. Of course he is.
Jesus. All right. Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying.
No, yeah. I think that the logical thing for all of this is that Omega will defeat Moxley at their show that they're calling Winter is Coming, which I found to be kind of funny.
Right.
So
yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, guys, I think we hit all of the wrestling chats and everything for tonight. And I think we're going to get ready to call it a night. Let me just get some programming notes.
Actually, DJ Impact, quick question from the chat.
Okay.
Jade wants to know, what about Karrion Kross? Will he be back? Do we have any kind of an idea on when Kross is supposed to be back?
Hopefully pretty soon. I don't have any concrete evidence, but I know just looking at his social media, the boy is healed up, ready to go.
Yep.
And, he's been taking some time off, obviously, to heal up and to recruit. It's going to be amazing.
Most likely. I don't see why he doesn't pop up right at the end of War Games.
That was actually what I was. Yeah. Because they're going to need a new direction for Balor, which, I mean, realistically, it makes perfect sense because that Balor was literally just keeping the title warm. So,
well, and I got to be honest too, even with this week's NXT toward the end, I was a little concerned because oh man, he's not going to be in a program with McAfee and him because I'm waiting for Cross to come back. And so I'm like, oh man, I hope this doesn't prolong that. But I'm glad at the end of NXT show, there's probably still going to be, those 4 plus those 4. So,
To be honest, the only thing you cared about on NXT was the fact that Finn came out with a nice little beard, quote unquote.
I like this nice little beard, man. He's looking real dapper, man. You gotta give people roses while they're here, bro. I'm just saying, give people roses. Not to mention his jaw was locked shut, or stitched up, probably hiding scars. I don't know.
Well, guys, gentlemen, here's the story. We are, as we're about to wrap up our wrestling talk, you're going to, normally you get our 3 count on Tuesdays, but you're going to get a 3 count now on next Monday because we have a special show you're going to get this Tuesday. So make sure you listen to it. It's our Thanksgiving special. I think you're going to enjoy it. And you're still going to get the DeFalco Files, one of the hottest shows that we have on our podcast. So make sure you tune in to that. On Wednesday, we got another interview. We're not going to tell you who it is yet on the for that Friday release, but tune in to that. And definitely keep a lock on our social medias. If you're not locked on that, please, Vegas Bad Boyz, IG, Facebook, Twitter, log on to that and you will know everything that we have going on. And then again, of course, that Monday we will have 3 count, which would be a really good topic. All right. So just wanted to give you those show notes, because usually our 3 counts would be on Tuesday, and this Tuesday we're going to have a Thanksgiving special instead. With that, fellas, I think we should do our final thoughts as we go into this special holiday. So let's Simon Street, what you want to tell everybody?
Tell everybody, like I tell you every week, be kind to one another, make that extra step to help those around you, and just be good to yourself. Be kind.
That's right. That's right. Sin City.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight, liking the stream, your comments in the chat. Thank you for everybody subscribing and all that kind of fun stuff. Also, special shout out to all of the brave men and women serving our country, both foreign and domestic here. We owe you everything. It's amazing that that you guys do everything that you do for us, especially our boy the Storm Mormon. Thank you so much. And also repsports.com, reppsports.com. Use promo code Vegas at checkout and save yourself 15%.
Awesome. Matt Michaels.
This past Friday, Maserati became the future Stars of Wrestling Women's Champion.
Nice.
So that is a very good accomplishment there for her. And also, if anyone can contribute, please go to GoFundMe. There is a GoFundMe set up for Super Genie. Melissa Coates, she had something happen with blood clots out of nowhere, and unfortunately